Man, I'm in my office late night and really thinking about a great, exciting opportunity we have as it pertains to building a car. I have a great opportunity to, build a car that, for me, now it's my Super Bowl. You know, I feel like Usher playing the Super Bowl for me now. You can take every trophy and every accolade and just, boy, I traded in for this special opportunity. So I'm a little humble and excited at the same time. Listen to old little Junior Mance in the background. An extraordinary pianist. And he went on certainly to be with the Lord, and Junior died, I think, in 2021. But a world-class jazz pianist, if you know anything about your jazz. And life allowed us to have a friendship. And he's something else, man. He could really play that piano. So I'm just reminiscing a little bit, about this opportunity I'm going to share with you that God has given us. And just about Junior, just listening to that piano. I remember one time his sister was in a nursing home, and Junior came to see her. And she said, "Junior, play me a song." And she knew Junior now. She knew him extremely well, of course, and his feats, and boy, that was his favorite, his sister. And she certainly had some special needs in life, and he took care of, man, and paid the bill and made sure she had first-class service all the time. But she tell him to play that song, man. Her name was Garnetta Mance. That was his prize, man. And Junior came this world class. He needed $1,000 to get a ticket. And here he is, and she said, "Play me a song, Junior." And Junior sat down, man, to that old dusty, out-of-tune piano. And he went in that corner, and as we say, boy, he made it talk, you know what I mean? And, but yes, I had a lot of conversations about artistry and about being epic and about being great. He called me Cat. He called everybody Cat, He old school jazz pianist, man. But I've been given a great opportunity. We've been talking maybe for some years off and on. But the first black car builder is CR Patterson. And his son was Frederick Patterson. And man, they mean something to me, And just me being child of the South and a black car builder in what is historically a predominantly white playing field. And OEMs have traditionally come from different culture groups. And man, CR Patterson was illustrious. He was born in 1833 in slavery, man. 1950, he traveled. We don't know the full story or the facts. Traveled to Greenville, Ohio. And there was a great blacksmith. Somewhere around 1860, 65. Him and J.P. Lowe got together, the blacksmith and the coach builder. They got together, man, and CR Patterson ran the shop and was a tremendous blacksmith. And they were partners. And that was a great recession, if you will, somewhere around that 1890. Some of y'all will know about that. And it really affected that area. A few railroads closed and business was turned upside down. So somewhere around 1890, this former slave who was able to leverage a partnership with J.P. Lowe, who was a white man. They were in business together almost 20 years, and now he somehow raises the money to buy him out. And the railroad closing didn't hurt it now. And so here he is, a world-class carriage maker at that time. And he was known for carriages that were luxurious. His clientele was doctors and that's who would buy his product. And what I love about, and I read a lot of his writings, and a great friend of mine, Christopher Nelson, shout out to him, a tremendous author, great historian. Right, he has some great books on CR Patterson. Do yourself a favor, buy you one, Christopher Nelson, and get you one of his books, man. He's real deal. Great brother. You know, I joke with Chris all the time. He's a white brother, and we friends now, so I can say this. And I say, Chris, you the only white man I know with a black man on his card. On his card, because he wrote the authorized he wrote the autobiography of CR Patterson. He's one of the premier researchers of that individual, and he's an automotive archaeologist. You know, just a really deep thinker, brother. And on his cards, he has a picture of CR Patterson. So I joke with him all the time. I say, man, you the only white man I know with a black man on his business card, man. And we joke and laugh. But anyway, just CR Patterson has meant a lot to me in my career and in my life and in my journey. And one of the things, he's never been about excuses. You know, there's challenges and there's barriers. If you're a woman, it's hard for you. If you're in the rural, it's hard for you. It's hard for everybody. Not just a black man or anybody. It's hard for everybody. Everybody has their different set of challenges. And what I love about CR, man, he never made excuses. Neither did his son, Frederick. Frederick was illustrious in his own right. Frederick was the first football player at the Ohio State University. And just an illustrious family, and did some great things, man, there in that Greenfield, Ohio area. But anyway, I'll keep it short, man. We've been given an opportunity to build a car. We're still discussing, but to build a car, going back to the history, CR Patterson, I say he was the first aftermarket car builder. And I tell people that as well. He's not just the first black automotive manufacturer, OEM. I believe that at least his son Frederick, that is, Frederick was the first big-time black aftermarket car builder. And the way the story goes, so they were in the carriage business. And somewhere around, if my dates are right, somewhere around, I'm going to say 1890, there was something like 60, I think, maybe it was 100,000, it was a bunch of them. No, I'm going to say 3,000. 3,000 carriage makers in the United States. And by 1920, it was less than 100. Well, if you think that's something, watch this. And in 1902, there was one car to every 65,000 Americans. Now watch this. By 1907, that number went from 1 to 65 to 1 to 800. That old fella by the name of Henry Ford had something to do with that. And so Frederick and the CR was real big on the carriage business, the horseless carriage, and been a blacksmith, and he subcontracted, if you will. That's an underwritten story of a lot of OEMs at that time, because everybody shared different vendors for different things, and so he did that. But he was big on the horse, on the carriage business. And what happened, his son Frederick, somewhere around, I think it was 1909, and he was at I think it was the United Negro League, and they have it recorded where he said that he's seen a horseless carriage that is fueled by gas, that is faster than a horse. And he quoted the numbers. That's where I get them from. Those numbers of how it was 1 to 62,000, and in less than 5 years, it went from 1 to 800. And he said it's time to move into the horseless carriage arena. And so just a really great story there, great family. And so he built his first car. I think it was called the Greenville Patterson or the Patterson Greenville. And if Chris is online, he probably fact-checking me now. And but they built their first car in 1915. Tremendous accomplishment. Now you got to remember, this is a new form. It's almost like the EV arena. This is a new form. This automobile, Carl Benz. It's been less than about 25 years since Carl Benz came out with the first car. That Mercedes Benz. So Carl Benz comes out with the first one. So this is a new emerging market. So from 1915 to 1918, man, they built some cars. And nothing to the capacity of what individuals or OEMs are doing now. It's more the modern equivalent of a low volume production manufacturer, if you compare it. But we're talking about a feat. We're talking about a major company. We're talking about a company that had many dozens of employees, that owned an entire city block, and that had all of the processes under one roof. And so there, CR died in 1910. So Frederick continues to take over the family business. And Frederick was what a unique thinker. And so he was a brother. I told you he was the first football player who played at the Ohio State University. But he would do a lot of teaching and a lot of coaching. That's why a lot of times I do that stuff now. He's one of my mentors and others. But he would teach African Americans. He'd say, listen, man, your product got to be better than everyone. Nobody's going to come to you just because. No one's going to do you any favors. No one wants to hear how hard it is for you. You should have a product that is so excellent and superior that other culture groups would want to partake in it. Just a tremendous family. So there's no known car in the world that has been retained by the no Patterson that has been retained. And so there's a big project going on. I won't talk too much about that. And so there's a need there's a need for a car. And a car that's built on blueprints that were from different writings that may be the Patterson car. And so we've been talking about this, and I've certainly been a proponent, and behind the scenes just whispering. Man, I'm not a decision maker in that. It's past my pay grade, you know what I mean? But a couple of big boys in the automotive industry, really on the OEM side and the entertainment and the Hollywood side and all of that. It's time to tell that story in a major way. And so I'm excited to hear about that. And then they asked me, will I build a car? Man, you talking about, boy, Super Bowl. I'm going to play that thing like Usher, man. It's a really humbling thing. I'm just a little fellow, man, from the Clay Hills of Georgia. And man, my daddy died when I was 2. My cousin would come kick me and get me out of bed when I was 8, 7, 10, make me go to the shop. I don't know if I was into cars, My daddy was into them, my cousin was into them, and my uncles was into them, and I don't know, man, And so my cousin made me come, man. I went to that shop, and buddy, we went to that shop, you know what I'm talking about? And 11 and 12 and 13. Man, by the time I was 15, 16, man, I was driving 911 Porsches and all that on a regular basis. It was like driving a Chevrolet truck and seeing those levels of engines being pulled, just a rich history. And my cousin would always teach me about Black greatness and excellence. And, I remember he made me buy a book by Reginald D. Lewis. And he was the first black billionaire. He talked to me about, I'm probably about 16 now, and he teaching me about Reginald D. Lewis and CR Patterson, and that there's a rich legacy that we come from. And, he would teach me stuff like that. And man, I really, really love him and appreciate him for that. He's been good in my life for sure. I wouldn't be here, boy, if he kicked me out the bed. Shout out to Adam Samuels, great cousin, great mentor. And so, man, you must understand, here I am in my Houston, Texas high-rise office, man. I'm just chilling, listening. Oh, Junior, man, hit that piano. $1,000 a ticket. Well, I remember seeing him up and close. Make a dusty piano talk. And then they asked me, of all the people in the world, I'm not the only black car builder, and I'm definitely not the only builder. Why Hollywood got to call me, man? Why would they call me? So I'm real honored, real thankful, man, from the bottom of my heart, the depth of my being, from the totality of my family and my team. I thought I'd share that with you. Sometimes you got to stop, baby. Smell that coffee.